Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name's Alex, and I'm a member of our user education team today. And I'll be walking us through the What's New on Everlaw for this October 2025. Before we jump in, also want to introduce behind the scenes, we have Carrie. They'll be answering any of the questions that you have throughout the session. So if you come across something, you want to know a little bit more information, you can go ahead and put that in the Q&A and Carrie will answer that as we go throughout the session. Before we jump in, I want to just take a quick poll about the features that have already been out for a few days now. So we'll talk about those new features. We'll jump into some updated features and talk about our webinar. But let's see if you've had a chance to use any of these features yet. I'm going to launch a poll over on the right-hand side. Tell us how comfortable you're feeling with these newly released features so far. Okay, I'll leave that open for a little bit longer. If you have a minute, we'd love to hear what your experience is so far, and then we'll ask the same thing after the training to see how effective this was. So let's move on then to our new features, and we have quite a few new features this time. Let me turn my camera off here and maybe adjust this layout to give you some more space. Okay, cool. Our first new feature, and this I think is probably the most exciting one for people, that is the availability of single document AI actions for all of our users. So these AI actions will come at no additional cost. So if your organization already has an org admin or has been using the AI features, your org admin can turn these on at the organization level, and then project admin will be able to decide which projects they want to use these AI features on. The ones that are going to be included are going to be any single document action for coding suggestions, extractions, topics generation. If you can ask a question to a specific document, you can translate and store an individual document. You can also generate a description and summary of an individual document. So all of these will now be included with your Everlaw subscription, no additional charge there. If you are not an org admin and you don't have the ability to turn these on, maybe you're working with a single case on Everlaw, go ahead and reach out to your customer success person and we can talk you through how to get these things enabled. Now for this, I want to show you how we can turn this on the platform. So I'm just going to jump on over to Everlaw. First off, since we'll turn these on at the org level, I'll click on my organization home here, which will take us over here. Now, a couple things have changed around this AI tab, but we can click into our AI tab here, and we'll see this new toggle where we can enable the Everlaw AI features across all of our projects. So what this does is kind of say at an organization level, we're okay with using these no-cost AI features. And then on an individual project level, the project admin can decide to turn those on and off for each project. As an org admin, you can decide which features will be available for your projects across the entire org. Here we can see that we have the batch review assistant enabled as well. If you've already purchased some AI credits, these are going to be the only tools now that require the use of those AI credits. So if you are using those, you can see that turned on here. If you have not purchased any AI credits, this will be disabled for you. Again, if you want to do these options in batch action, then reach out to your customer success person and we can get that set up for you. Once you have gone ahead and enabled this for your entire org, we can jump back into a specific project And then a project admin will be able to see those AI features from their project settings. So I just went to the project settings here. We have that AI tab, and then you'll be able to enable this for this particular project. So the higher level toggle just allows the project admin to decide on an individual project basis which ones we want to use those included AI features for. Once we have all those turned on, then you'll be able to see those throughout your project. So for example, if I jump into a set of documents here, maybe I'm looking at my review window. On my left-hand side, I'll see that sparkle icon. That's going to denote all of those AI features. So if I click into that, I'll just give you a little overview of what you might expect here. First, you can get a description and a summary of this individual document. We can pull out the topics that are being discussed in this document and group them together for you. You can ask a question about this one individual document. And then we also have coding suggestions available as well. So if you would like to use these coding suggestions to help decide whether or not you should apply a specific code to a document, we can get that set up for you. And this is all going to be included in your Everlaw subscription. Now, these are a lot of features to talk about that have been out for a little bit of time. I want to encourage you, if you're excited about these and want to get them set up in your projects, to attend our Everlaw AI training so you can learn about how to get them set up properly, how to use them, some tips and tricks for using these AI features. And Carrie's going to go ahead and drop in the chat a link to that sign up. So if you're curious about those features, go ahead and sign up for that training and we can get you some more information. Okay, with that, I'll jump over to our next feature. And that is going to be one more AI feature here, and that's around the deep dive responses. So if you've been using deep dive already, this is currently a beta feature. It will be rolled out for general availability soon, but if you're currently in the deep dive beta, you can now return some basic formatting in your responses. So you can get bulleted list, numbered lists, and tables. Depending on the types of questions that you're asking, we can now respond with those different formats. Previously, it was just paragraph format. If you're not using deep dive yet, keep an eye out. This will be available for everyone very soon. Moving on to our next feature here, we have a few updates around legal holds as well. So first of all, a couple different exporting options for us, both in filtering the legal holds and exporting those, and then in the custodian summary reports. There are a number of new fields added to the export. You can investigate those in the comprehensive release guide. But a couple that I wanted to point out, first of all, the status field has been renamed to custodian status in both of those reports. So do note that if you're using those exports for anything important. And we've also updated how they're sorted. So there's a little bit more information in how these documents are sorted or how these hold notices are sorted. First, for a filtered legal hold export, we will sort them by the hold name and then the legal hold type. And then for the custodian summary report, those will be sorted by the directory that they're coming from, and then the custodian name, and then finally by that status. So a little few updates there in the exports. Next up with legal holds, there is the option for some consolidated reminders. So this is going to be really helpful if you have custodians who are a part of multiple different legal hold notices. We can combine all of those emails into one consolidated reminder for them so that they're not being bombarded with multiple different notice emails throughout the month. This will help reduce that noise and make sure that your custodians can see the important information all together in one email. So I want to show you how to turn this on. So I'll jump back over to our platform, and here I am again in the org admin home, and we'll click on legal holds. This option is going to be under the settings for those legal holds. So I'll click into settings. And here you can turn on this consolidated reminder. Now, a couple things to keep in mind here. If you do go ahead and enable this for your organization, you can then decide how often you want the reminder to be sent out and what the starting date is. Then this dialog will look very similar to configuring an individual reminder. You can edit that message, add in the information that you'd like to be visible for those reminders, and then we'll send out one for each of the cadence that you select here instead of one for each hold notice that somebody is a part of. Now, there is also the possibility to exclude some of your legal holds from this consolidated reminder. So here, if I scroll all the way to the bottom, we can see that one is not included there. And this is the name of that hold notice. If there are specific hold notices that you want to make sure that you send their own reminders for, and they're not included in the consolidated reminder, you can do that from the reminders page of that specific hold notice. So there'll be a checkbox when you're going through that dialogue in the reminders. You can choose to exclude it, and then it will be sent on its own cadence with its own information separate from the consolidated reminders. Okay, I'll pause there for any questions about those legal hold consolidations. Don't forget, you can use that Q&A anytime you need to. Then we have one more legal hold feature this time, and this is the option to edit a legal hold without automatically sending an update. So previously, if you changed anything about your legal hold, before you could save it, it would automatically send a new update to all of the custodians. This got a little bit cumbersome if you made a very minor edit and you didn't really need to send it right now. So we've introduced the option to do not send this now, or to send the edited hold notice emails immediately. So when you've made any updates, you'll see both of these options. If you choose not to send it now, it will just include the updated hold notice at the next scheduled communication. Okay, so they're still going to be notified of that update, but it'll just be on the next scheduled communication instead of immediately when you save it. Okay, let's keep on moving here. Next up, we have the ability to rename a database. And this is going to be great news for those database admin. If you ever needed to rename a database and therefore its complete project, you can now do that from the database admin page. Previously, this was only available to organization administrators, or you'd have to reach out to Everlaw support team to do this, but we've now given that ability to the database admin as well. So you can go to that database settings page, select that pencil button, and then you can change the name of your database. Cool. A couple smaller updates here as well. When it comes to native uploads, there are a few different documents that are ignored when we upload native documents. Those are things like Windows shortcuts, thumbs.db files. They really have no review significance, so they're ignored in the upload process. But we've now included this as an option for you to see the size and the number of files that have been ignored on the upload. So from that processing report card, you can investigate those files that were ignored on the native upload. And lastly, our last new feature here are one update to our API. And this is going to allow you to update the text of a document using the Everlaw API. If you've already uploaded some documents to the platform, but maybe there were some issues with the OCR text, it wasn't accurate, or some issue arose with the text file itself, you can now use the API to update that text file on the platform. So this is also going to be trackable on the org admin page as an update doc OCR text event. So we'll know anytime those have been updated using the API. If you're curious to learn more about how this works, I encourage you to investigate our knowledge base around the API. It can be really helpful if you have a larger organization. Okay, of course, we have many updated features as well. So these might be a bit smaller, but definitely important for us to mention. The first one here is an update to the results table, and specifically the document sets column. So we've added some improvements to this column. First of all, this is going to make it a little bit easier to use, and it will be included in the project default layout. So if you're creating some new projects, you haven't created your own team default layout, this document sets will now be included there. I'll show you how to add this onto the platform as well, but it's going to make it a lot easier for you to filter down using that document sets column. Let me show you what this looks like on the platform. So first of all, I'm looking at a results table here. I can use that view button if I don't see the column that I want to see. Add or remove columns. I'm just going to take out a couple so that we can see this a little bit more clearly. And I'll add that document. Great. So if I drag this over, I'll see that document sets available. So this will show me where these documents are coming from. If I click into that filter button, oops, let me actually go to our all documents so we can see that. Great. Earlier, they were all from one upload, so there was nothing to filter down. Oops. I'm getting everything from the same import, so I'm not able to filter these ones, but let me just change this to another project. We'll be able to show this for you. Cool. Sorry about that. One more time, just using that view button, add or remove columns. We're getting that added in. Great. Now we can see all of those different filters that we can add. So you can click on any of the filters that you'd like to include in your results table. You can also choose to exclude ones from a specific upload. And then you'll also see that you can choose the native documents, process documents, or anything that was included in an Everlaw run production. So making it very simple to navigate through these and choose the documents that you'd like to see in your results table. Okay, I'll pause for questions around that one. I know it took me a little bit to demo it for you, so if there's any questions, feel free to add those to our Q&A. Okay, then we'll continue to move on here. A couple more things to point out. Our file path visualization has been updated as well. So this is just changing the sorting order to make it a little bit easier for documents and files that are named with numbers. Previously, it would sort something like this based on the exact numbers there. Now we've reorganized this into a natural sort order so that it works a little bit better for documents that are named after numbers. This will be available in both the file path visualization in the data visualizer, as well as looking in the context panel on an individual document in the review window. A few simple limit increases that'll make your life a little bit easier as well. If you're importing search term reports or search terms into a search term report, we've now increased that limit to 100,000 terms that you can import at one time. Custom extractions as well. If you were using those batch actions for the Everlaw AI and doing custom extractions, previously that was limited to 5 extractions at a time, and we have increased that to 75. And also, if you're doing any dependent redactions on spreadsheets, that file size has increased to 90 megabytes as well. So those are always great to hear, making our life a little bit easier with those limit increases. Another quality of life update here, we have a new keyboard shortcut. This is going to be for the text selector. So if you are in the review window and you're using that text selector, you can now use the Shift T button to turn on and off that text selector. That way you can just stay on the keyboard, engage that text selector, and then highlight whatever you need or make a specific redaction. If you're curious about other keyboard shortcuts, you can use the Shift ? On any page, and it will open up to show you all of the keyboard shortcuts there. So if that's something you're interested in, look at those on the platform too. There's a lot of cool keyboard shortcuts. And lastly, there are a few visual updates. I only highlighted a couple here, one being in the productions page, the way that the icons look at the changing of the color and the drop down here, as well as one that I think is really useful, the coding presets. Previously, they were kind of hidden behind what the names of those codes were. Now we're going to list out exactly what's happening in that preset. So you'll notice those changes across the platform. There are a number of other visual updates as well. I encourage you to use that comprehensive release guide if you want to investigate those visual. You can always see that here within our training space as well. In the Docs tab, we've included that comprehensive release guide, so you can click into that and view it if you need to. Okay, before we move into our upcoming webinar, I just wanted to launch this poll one more time. So we've kind of gone through what our new features are. Let's see how comfortable we're feeling with this one. Just take a second to answer that last poll, and then we'll move into our exciting new webinar. Perfect. And I'll keep that open again for a little bit of time. But let's move on to some upcoming events. And this is one that I'm really excited about. We do have a webinar in December that is scheduled December 16th at 10 a.m. This is going to be our top hits of 2025. So if you are a regular attendee of our release trainings, we're going to group together those biggest, most exciting new features that came across this year, and we're going to highlight them for you in the December webinar. So feel free to come join that. Carrie's going to drop another registration link there in the chat. and we'll demo all of these new features, how you can use them, navigating through the biggest new releases of the year. So that should be super exciting for all of you. We'll stick around if there's any more questions, but I just want to thank you one more time for coming and learning about our new Everlaw features. Keeping up to date is one of the most important parts of using a new technology like this, so we appreciate you being here every time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at our next release training.